To have a big concert at Nissan Stadium last night. Well, that got canceled and rescheduled for tonight because of the inclement weather. And look at this weather that came into Nashville yesterday evening. Now, we were anticipating heavy winds with hail and potential for a very dangerous situation. That did not happen, thankfully, but nonetheless, a lot of rain and people ducking into restaurants and bars and trying to get out of the elements. Meanwhile, the twinkling lights of Broadway and all of the bars with the music were still rolling, and people eventually got out of that rain and back into the fun, so to speak. And that's a good thing. But to the south of where we're at here in Nashville, some of the suburbs, yeah, they received some very inclement weather, even down into Alabama. Now, if we look back at the past week, it has just been hellacious in so many areas, from the central and south plains to the Midwest, upper Midwest, middle Tennessee, Mississippi, and Ohio valleys. London, Kentucky, ravaged by an EF4 tornado, upgraded just yesterday in the state of Kentucky, killing nearly 20 people, and people picking up and mourning the loss of life. And then, if we go into the western area on the mighty Mississippi River, we see St. Louis, Missouri, which an EF3 tornado came in and demolished a huge swath of neighborhoods to the northwest of downtown St. Louis, killing 5 people in total, 7 dead in the state of Missouri. Survivors have been talking to Fox Weather and telling us their stories.
I got halfway down the steps, and it sounded like a bunch of diesel engines and the biggest truck you've ever seen in your life coming down the street vibrating.
It's been a very difficult past week with the severe weather and the tornadoes and the isolated severe thunderstorms that have gone through so many communities. The pickup will be long and arduous, and the mourning of people that have died significant. Reporting in Nashville, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
And we can't say this enough from, here in Milwaukee. Our hearts go out to everybody south of us who have been dealing with, as you just heard, pretty much a week's long threat of severe weather and especially damaging tornadoes. So cleanup, once again, it's going to take some time. We can only hope for a quiet stretch of weather. There are some spots right now dealing with just a little bit of severe weather down south, but not here. Here we're very lucky. We saw peaks of sunshine earlier this morning. Now a view of the city, though, you can see the clouds have moved back in, aside from just this little blue spot right there up in the sky. So we'll take what we can get here locally. Speaking of that severe threat, though, down towards the south, parts of Oklahoma and northern Texas under a severe thunderstorm watch right now. Looks like there's a flash flood warning as well as a severe thunderstorm warning there far southern Oklahoma, pretty much to the border. A decent cluster of thunderstorms. It's pretty isolated, as you can see, and not moving terribly fast, especially this lone cell that is warned. It's just kind of circulating in its own area. So not a huge threat for severe weather today, but it is just an additional threat for spots that have been dealing with it relentlessly over the last 7+ days. It was a week ago today that we in southeast Wisconsin and the state of Wisconsin dealt with tornadoes. 6 confirmed tornadoes in Dodge County as of last check. Our statewide total for the year so far, 21. So we have dealt with our fair share, especially outside of Milwaukee, of severe weather over the last couple of months. Just a few clouds at the moment. Still spending most of the day across Wisconsin, mostly cloudy. You can see a few light rain showers towards the UP, sinking closer to maybe the Green Bay area. It's not out of the question to still see a light rain shower or two out of some of these thicker clouds as they move into central and southern Wisconsin, but it is going to be nothing compared to the last couple of days. Most spots down south, especially across our area and over to Madison, picked up over 2-3 inches of rainfall. In Milwaukee at the airport, we were just a little less than 2 inches, but there were a lot of other spots that picked up even higher rainfall totals. That system, though, is now out east. There is still a boundary just towards the south of us, and you can see a little bit of that wraparound cloud cover out towards the west over our area, but the bulk of the heavy rainfall with this storm system now making its way out towards the east. So heavy rain is then in the forecast through the weekend for the East Coast. They're dealing with it right now. Remember, this is is a fairly slow-moving storm system, so it's not going to be the nicest holiday weekend for the East Coast. Think New York City, Boston, those areas going to be a little bit rainy. Now, aside from some of those severe thunderstorms down towards the south, a good chunk of the central U.S. as well as out in the southwest, pretty quiet. We do have a series of high pressure systems around the Dakotas right now that are going to dominate our forecast through the weekend. So sunshine is back for Friday across Wisconsin and pretty much all through the holiday weekend. At this point, we just have a slight chance for a few rain showers come Monday, Memorial Day itself. Going through the rest of today, you can see just a bit of cloud cover from time to time, maybe an isolated sprinkle or a light rain shower as we still get some of this wraparound moisture. Otherwise, Friday morning, those clouds primarily stay north of us. We'll still see maybe a little bit here or there, but partly sunny conditions ahead for Friday and Saturday, as well as Sunday, looking very similar. In fact, even more sun expected over the weekend. And now let's talk temperatures, because the last 2 days in Milwaukee, we've been in the 40s. Much of the state only reached into the 40s the last couple of days, so you can tell we're moving in the right direction. We're a little warmer, a good 5 degrees warmer right now in Milwaukee. Look at out west, Minneapolis to Duluth, 12 to 16 degrees warmer than just 24 hours ago. So inland areas, and especially western Wisconsin and portions of Minnesota, going to be warmer in the 60s today. Lakeshore communities will likely hang out in the 50s, and that's still the trend for the next couple of days as that lake breeze stays with us, but the breeze will settle down a little bit, so we'll still be able to warm, especially once we see a little bit more sunshine near the lake. All the heat stays down south today. Triple digits for the southwest. It's going to be another hot one, and even Dallas to Houston, high temperatures in the 90s. We're going to be a little bit cooler across the Great Lakes region and certainly along the East Coast, New England states specifically because of all that rain, but a lot of warmth out towards the west that will slowly move eastward into our area in the coming days. Your temperature trend, you'll notice, keeps going on up, at least a few degrees up and up. From here, we should eventually see those 60s. And Tuesday, maybe even inland, some spots getting close to 70s. Here's a look ahead to your Memorial Day weekend. Starting Saturday, tomorrow is still going to be a 50s and 60s type day, but heading into the weekend, we've number one got more sunshine. Wind speeds look to cooperate. I do think Memorial Day may be a slight chance for a shower at this point, but nothing concerning. So we'll keep on this forecast, of course. Lots of outdoor ceremonies on Monday. Right. I know there's one not too far from me, so I'm hoping the weather really cooperates.
There you go. And as we say in the forecasting biz, the trend for Monday has been to less. It has been trending drier and drier, so that's good. And like you said, there's so much going on. I mean, obviously, we like to kind of reserve the mornings of Memorial Day for remembrance and taking that moment to reflect back. Maybe you go down and check out all the flag displays down at Veterans Park or something like that. And then, we celebrate the freedom that was so hard fought for by, enjoying our family maybe, having a little grilling. A lot of outdoor activities on Memorial Day, so we like to have that dry pretty much throughout if we can. I like the trend, fingers crossed. All right, coming up, we've got to check in with Chief Meteorologist Tom Wachs, who's live in his own backyard. It's becoming a very famous backyard.
Yes.
Like second only to the weather deck right now.
I would agree with that.
Been live there a lot. We'll check in with him in a minute. Welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts here on Fox Local and the Fox 6 YouTube channel. Make sure you click subscribe, folks. We have definitely subscribed apparently to a season pass to the Walk's backyard.
It's a nice backyard.
Yeah, there's like a little rainbow play system. Looks like a little golf course going out there. Tom, it's good to get outside and not be soggy for once.
Absolutely. In fact, the sun is trying to poke through here right now, guys. So we're hoping maybe we can see that sun for a little bit after what's been a soggy several days. But we've had a lot of questions about why has this month been so cool. And of course, we know with all the rain the last few days, we've been in the mid 40s, right? So a lot to talk about when it comes to the science behind why we're so cool. Let's take you upstairs first to the jet stream level and talk about this. So here we are at about 30,000 feet in the atmosphere. So think airplane cruising altitude. And this is where we have the jet stream, which is a river of air, and it divides the cool air to the north from the warmer air to the south. Now, Steph just talked about all the warm air that's way south, right, in places like Texas. And the reason why is because the jet stream is dividing the cooler air from the warmer air. So in order for us to see a substantial warm-up, we need that jet stream to push north of us. And that happens when we have what's called a ridge of high pressure building in. And we're likely going to see that late next week. But this is why we've been so cool here for a while, with the exception, if you recall, the day that we had all of those tornadoes in Dodge County, it was in the 80s, right? It was really warm. And that's because the jet stream had surged to our north for a time, and now it's moved back south. So let's take a look at temperatures here. This is kind of a generalized temperature forecast over the next several days. And what you're going to notice is we still stay relatively cool. We are going to warm up a little bit here and there, but temperatures still stay much warmer farther down to the south as we head into the weekend and then into the Memorial Day holiday. But it won't be until late next week when that jet stream starts to come a bit north, and that should allow our temperatures to start to go back up into the 70s and maybe even the 80s. Now, one thing I didn't talk much about is the lake influence. And of course, that has an influence on our temperatures as well. That's more of a localized influence, though. And if you'll notice, most of the region has been cold, right? The northern part of the country. So that's not necessarily lake influence, but that certainly can cause a cool down for us in the Milwaukee area when the wind is off the lake. So we always have to watch for those dreaded easterly winds, right? This time of year.
Right. And
so
that's
the
so
latest, guys, as to why.
Too.
Right, exactly. And of course, we had that soaking rain, which, you know, I know a lot of people complained, right, that it was raining. But here's the deal. We needed the rain. So I guess that's a plus side. Hopefully that'll set us up pretty well now, drought-wise at least, as we head into summer.
Right. Yeah. We might have to wait, though, because the new drought monitor came out today, Tom, as you know. But the numbers, the data is taken Tuesday morning, and it really didn't start raining until Tuesday afternoon.
Right. So we'll see the impacts of that next week.
We'll give it one more week to crunch the numbers. Tom, thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us live from the luscious and luxurious backyard there. It looks good. The grass looks green.
It's very green, isn't it?
Yeah. Everybody's grass is
there
green.
we go.
It's really tough to do the no-mow May this year because that rain and then the warmth we had earlier. I like to do it because it's great for the pollinators, but my neighbors are going to come over and mow it themselves or make me mow it.
Yeah, right.
Because the other way it's been pretty wet and obviously pretty long, but at least it's beautifully green and Tom's backyard looks spectacular.
Very beneficial.
Now we're going to go from Earth, right in the back of the yard with Tom, all the way up into space. But this is interesting because NASA is, of course, not only exploring space, they're also now helping to fight fires right back down here on planet Earth. So when wildfires burned through parts of LA County earlier this year, NASA kind of sped up the testing of their new firefighting technology. Fox News multimedia reporter Sarah Allegra has more from with the space agency's work.
I'm outside of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. It's the home of where a lot of this tech is being developed. Now, ironically, the hills behind the lab were scorched during the Eaton fire. The flames were moving quickly, the smoke was thick, and people were trying to get out of here in a hurry. Now, NASA's trying to change all that really across the country. Some of their most recent efforts, the state of Alabama. Wildfires spread fast, but now NASA's helping crews move faster. Their new tool is already in the air from the southern forests to the California foothills. Real-time eyes in the sky, capturing what crews on the ground can't always see.
Because we were in the plane with a real-time product that could tell the first responders where is the fire, how hot is it, they were using that information to deploy their resources and actually save some structures.
The sensor is called Avarice 3. Dr. Robert Green is the NASA scientist who leads the team behind it. He spent decades studying the Earth from above. Avarice 3 is a hyperspectral camera. It can spot flames, heat, even gases around the clock.
We can fly day or night. We can see through smoke to a very large degree.
It generates detailed maps of hot spots and fire lines.
So this is just 2400 nanometers.
And quickly gets the info to crews.
The data are collected by the sensor and it's uplinked to a Starlink satellite and then beamed down to fire crews within a matter of minutes.
The tech is a joint effort between NASA and Homeland Security, years in the making, now moving out of testing and into action. The Eaton fire in LA County gave crews a first look at its potential.
We did fly after the Eaton fire and map the burn severity, and that information was used by first responders to make decisions about hazards and how they might want to deploy people in terms of cleaning up immediately after the fire.
And NASA hopes even more states can soon get the same support.
To be responsive to fires, which I'm even learning are occurring in many other places that I didn't expect, in Florida, in Alabama, in Tennessee, in Georgia.
NASA is also working on another system that allows ground crews to fly unmanned aircrafts during low visibility. That means night or when there's some thick smoke as well. And that's a big game changer because we don't have the tech for that right now. Usually when the sun goes down, firefighting efforts from the sky, well, that stops too. In Pasadena, California, Sarah Allegre, Fox News.
That's great.
Fascinating.
It sounds very beneficial. You know, at this point, with so many wildfires and just how disastrous they are, any extra resources are welcome.
Yeah, and this will really help out. Like you said, having targeted attacks and being able to fight the fire in a strategic way really will help. And what also helps is Mother Nature, and that's the other upside to this long gray stretch. We talked about it making the grass all green, and the fact that we had a bit of a drought. It's also really improved our fire weather conditions. At least temporarily.
Yeah, so we can just, hope that continues.
Right, well, it was a big deal in, Minnesota recently and
absolutely.
things. And so they got similar rain that we got. In fact, they got a little more in some spots, so that's really helped out for sure. All right, stick around. We've got more Wisconsin weather experts in just a couple of minutes. In fact, it's apparently being handed over to the animals here. So alligators, and there's a flying cow.
Welcome back, everybody, to Wisconsin Weather Experts. We are going to start things off with a great viewer question. So let's take a look at that. It has to do with tornadoes and, almost our drought from EF5s, which, hey, we're thankful for.
Right, we like
that. Right, the question is, the last EF5 tornado in the U.S. was 2011, the Moore, Oklahoma tornado. This is the longest stretch since keeping record. What overall climate changes occurred to cause this, and will this pattern continue? Personally, Rob, and I will, of course, let you chime in, I don't think it's the strength of the storms. It's more so the change years ago with the enhanced Fujita scale. It was the Fujita scale. There were some inconsistencies, and it wasn't as accurate as it could have been. Then it was changed to the enhanced Fujita scale. And again, I think, EF5 or F5s are now EF4s. So, it's just a little different.
Right. We've kind of moved the goal line, if you will, if you want to use like a sports terminology.
Sure.
And not like on purpose, but, when you know more, when you learn more, you do better, you improve things. And so, Ted Fujita invented a incredibly strong scientific scale, particularly at a time when the data on this kind of phenomenon wasn't all that great. There was new data, and there was new things to bring to the table on this. So that's why the enhanced Fujita, the EF, has been brought out. And it makes it a much higher mark to clear to get to that EF5.
Yes.
So that's why we haven't seen as many, whereas there probably are more F5s on the books than there will be EF5s. That being said, you cannot necessarily completely separate climate change from this either. Numerous studies have shown an increase in severity, increase in intensity, and increase in frequency, because you've got what we like to call now a greedier atmosphere that wants all this moisture and all this instability and heat. So that's part of it, but I think you're right. I think the scale has a bigger impact on this, at least in the immediate.
Yeah.
Great question, though. Joan definitely knowing her stuff there when it comes to the history of the Fujita scale and the Fujita storms that have moved through the area. If you've got some knowledge to share, you've got a question to ask, click a QR code, send it to us, and we will do our best to answer it. Did you ever make a bet like, when cows fly or when pigs fly?
Once or twice.
I hope it wasn't cows, because cows are flying apparently.
Right, yeah. Lastly today, a pretty unusual rescue mission caught on camera in Switzerland.
Look at this.
Oh my gosh. That's a cow, you guys. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Swiss authorities airlifting an injured cow as a village prepares for a potential landslide. So the authorities from an alpine mountain community began evacuating livestock in preparation over the threat. Among those brought to safety were about 300 people, 190 sheep, 20 rabbits, and about 26 cows. It's unclear when the residents and their animals will be cleared to return home. But wow, is that a crazy sight you probably never thought you'd see?
Strange scene. And the cow looks oddly unfazed.
Yeah, I agree.
Just like, I'm flying. What's going on?
Wow.
Bizarre. And I didn't know they delivered milk these days, but sorry, dad joke. Had to be done. The landslide there, though, obviously a very serious situation. We're having a little fun with that video, but that landslide, good that they've been able to do the evac and take care of people and animals as well. All right, thanks for joining us here on the show. We'll be back again at noon tomorrow right here on Fox Local and the Fox 6 YouTube channel. Steph, it's blue skies.
Blue skies. Enjoy that sunshine, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at